All right. So today we are going to make an air foam generator, and there are multiple, dozens even, videos online that show you how to make an air foam generator, but the way we're going to do it is going to be a little bit different. It is going to be the Wheeler way.
Sorry.
Excuse him.
Sorry.
So there are pretty much two primary methods for achieving this. The most common is the DC, not DC powered. It's an electric motor, like a diaphragm pump, similar to what's in the Little Dragon. They're like SureFlow 90 psi pumps. And if you don't know what Little Dragon is, you could search it. It's pretty common, but they sell for like, I don't know, like $500, and I wasn't going to pay that. The other method for getting your solution into the airstream is to, it's like the canister built into the wand, or not the canister, like the container. It's all built in one. It's basically you just put the solution into the wand, the air blows through it. The main problem with that is that you can't put a lot of fluid, a lot of solution into the wand. I mean, unless you have just this monster bazooka with a big bucket on it, you're going to be limited to how much foam you can generate in a single batch. So I didn't want to go either one of those routes, so we're going to try something new, something that incorporates a sump pump. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to work. There's a couple pros and a couple cons to a sump pump. One of the pros is it's cheap. I paid $40 for that. Another pro is that there are applications for this outside of foam generation. So if I ever just need a sump pump, I can still use this. It'll come in handy. Unlike, one of those high pressure diaphragm pumps where it's really just tailor built for one thing, namely foam generating or whatever use case you have for it. And so that's not the case with this. You can use this for other things. That way I can, pump out the basement that we don't have. Other pros to this, you can get it on Amazon. You can get it next day. So I bought this 2 days ago. I had it yesterday. One of the problems with this is it's a high flow but low pressure pump. So I don't know if I'm going to get enough pressure to do this right. So I've got a bunch of valves, and we're going to try to get it dialed in to see what we can do. Worst case scenario, I have a slow foam rate, which I'm okay with. I'd rather have slow foam than no foam. So we'll tinker with that. This may not work, and if it doesn't work, that's okay. Then I'll get the high pressure diaphragm pump. But I figured this is something you can pick up anywhere, and not this model, but you can get different types of sump pumps anywhere. And they're useful for more things. So we're going to try this. The only other problem with this is that it does take up room. It does displace volume in your container where your solution goes. So I'm not going to get a full 5 gallons out of each batch. I'm going to get closer to 4 probably. On the other hand, you could put this and your solution in a 100-gallon stock tank and have foam for days. And there's some neat applications for that. You could have a big slip and slide that just pump foam out onto it all day long, which my kids would hate that. They hate slip and slides. So that's kind of the heart of the fluid delivery system. Other stuff we got, I had some random spigots and valves and connections and water hose fittings already, but really a bulk of what I got went to Harbor Freight, picked up brass tees and 3/8 hose to 1/4-inch NPT couplings, just random air supply lines. I'm going to try to quick connect everything to the pump, to my little manifold, to my Y, to my pressure gauges, to my valves, to my wand. I want everything to be quick connect. And I know that's not always the most air or liquid tight, but in terms of servicing and taking apart and being mobile and easy to clean and stuff, I like that better. So I'm going to quick connect everything. Air pressure regulator, that's like $5 at Harbor Freight gauges. And something else that I haven't seen done yet for my Y system. There are people out there who have made good points. You don't want to use the T to bring your fluid and your air together. That way the pressures don't fight. I'm going to use this. It's like an airline manifold, they call it, I think. Yeah, quick coupling manifold. So I can bring air in here, fluid in here, come out with a quick connect hose to go straight to the wand. Everything will be in, out, easy. Obviously this is three-way, so I'm gonna take one of these three out and plug it. But I thought this was neat. We're gonna get a nice, smooth, laminar flow, hopefully up, in, and out. This is going to be my vessel. I'll teach you how to play Fortnite when I'm done.
Nice.
And then I really don't play Fortnite. I'm just lucky.
I had a medikit in my hand, not a shotgun.
I'm proud of you, son.
Because I can't get the
And then for my line, I'm going with this fabric interwoven stuff. You see a lot of people using that standard clear vinyl tube, which probably works, but that stuff's rated like 70 psi, and they're putting 90 psi on the airline. There's a safety factor built into these psi ratings, but there's no reason to go over it if you don't have to. For $2 extra, you can get 225 psi rated nylon. Or this is actually vinyl, excuse me. I don't know why I kept saying nylon. 225 psi at 70 degrees, so you'll lose some pressure, strength as it heats up, but you know, even at 100 degrees, this is way stronger than that non-braided stuff. So with that, I'm gonna just start piecing this stuff together. I'm not exactly sure how it's gonna go, but I bought way more parts than I needed because you could always use this stuff. And then once I'm done, I'll itemize a product list and break it down. I spent about $150 total for the pump and the parts and the hoses and the bucket, and that should be enough. I haven't bought the wand stuff yet because I wanted to make sure this all goes together good first, but this will be most of it. Doesn't goes there, goes here.
Dad. I have made a mistake. I don't know how to do.
All right, so we got pretty much all of the plumbing done, and I didn't need hardly any of this crap I bought, which I anticipated. I think I mentioned that. This is pretty much it. You have your fluid inlet here with a gauge and a valve. You have your air inlet here with a gauge and a regulator. You have your Y or manifold. This will go to the wand. This will come from the pump. This will come from the air compressor. Now, one of the only things I don't like about this design is there are no check valves. So if somebody uses this and forgets to run the air before the fluid, we're going to get fluid back down our airline, and we don't want that. So once we have the system tested, I will probably get some check valves. That way we keep flow only going in one direction. I would like a check valve. Probably here. Downstream of the gauge. No, I don't want it downstream of the gauge. I want it upstream of the gauge. That way I don't get a false reading on my pressure indicators. So next thing to do is test the pump. I'm going to get some water and we're going to see if we can make a mess. Okay, so what we're going to do next is test the PSI potential of this sump pump. So what I'm going to do is crack my valve, connect my gauge, and we're just going to recirculate back into the bucket until we get some water flowing, and then I'll slowly close the gauge or the valve and we'll see how high the gauge reads. How does this thing work? Is there a switch? Whoa. What now? I don't know how this thing works. Hey, Hey, come hold this, will you?
This?
Just hold that up. Let's scooch out the way just a little bit. Okay. So right here we're at. Oh yeah, this thing has no pressure power.
It doesn't?
No, super weak.
Looks weak.
Flows really well, but no pressure.
Is that hot water? That's hot water.
So this pump may not work, but we won't know till we try. I would say this flow is like a, I don't know, like a 12 blue moons flow. Not great, but kind of impressive if you're, never mind. Okay, well, let's put some air to it and some soap in the bucket and let's see what happens, huh? Okay, good job, buddy. So I mentioned yesterday that I really felt like I needed some check valves in here, and this will be whether or not the sump pump ends up working out or not. So I went ahead and got some. For those of you who don't know, this is what a check valve looks like. Some people call them check valves, some people call them swing valves, some people call them swing checks, one-way valves. Ultimately, they all do the same thing. They allow fluid or air. And just so you know, when you see something that says WOG, that stands for water, oil, or gas. So pretty much anything this will operate on. And the number 200, that is the PSI range. So this is a 200 PSI brass half-inch water, oil, and gas swing check valve, whatever. So you can see here, you can blow through it, turn it around, nothing. So we're gonna go ahead and put these in line. This will prevent fluid from running down the air side or air running down back into the pump. And it's just a better way to set this up. Now, they didn't have any 1/4 inch swing checks at Lowe's, so I had to get half-inch, and I've got half-inch to 1/4 inch bushings. So I'm going to slap this together, and I'm going to put one of these in line on both sides of my mechanism here. So I'm going to knock that out real quick, and then we're going to be able to move on to the wand. Now, a lot of people just glue these up. They stuff their stainless steel wool in, they glue it together, they drill holes, and they tap it. I'm not a big fan of tapping PVC. I know you can do it successfully, but if you don't have to, I don't think you should. Also, there's not enough people using threads, taking advantage of the threads that come with these fittings you get. So here's what we're doing. 2-inch PVC, we're gonna cap it and drill a hole for the foam to come out. On the other end, we're gonna have a threaded 2-inch coupling. That's gonna allow us to shove our steel wool inside, but then also disassemble it so that if we need to take it apart, add more wool, change it out, whatever, we can do that. So we're gonna go from this 2-inch threaded connection to a 2-inch to half-inch bushing, and then we're gonna go from a half-inch bushing to a half-inch to 1/4 inch bushing. So this is the entire wand, and it will come apart when we need it to. And this half of the wand will have a quick connect also, and it will go right into the supply line. So I'll be able to disconnect this when I need to, thread this off when I need to, all serviceable, all easy to break down, all fun. So now I'm going to glue this stuff up. I'm not going to record that. No one wants to see me gluing plastic together. Thread these, do a little bit of pipe fitting, and when we come back, I will have everything fully assembled, and we will be ready to test. I'm really skeptical about the sump pump and its inability to pressurize. We'll see. Maybe if we run fluid first and then hit this Y with air, we will get a Venturi effect. We'll toy with it a little bit because we need this to work. I need to pour some forms today. All right, we got it put together. We got our check valves in line, making sure the arrows point towards the wand. We have our wand put together. I found that for this length of pipe, which is I don't lose anything more than I lose my pencils and my tape measures. This pipe's about 14 inches long, and 9 of these Scotch-Brite stainless steel scrubbing pads fit in there perfectly. So, 14-inch long, 2-inch diameter wand, cap of the hole, that's a 3/8 hole. I kept it small, that way if I need to make it bigger I can. PVC glued the 2-inch coupling on. This may leak a little bit, and I'm okay with that. Then again, it may not leak at all. We'll see. I may tape it. And then we've got the quarter-inch air line, or quarter-inch air fitting on top. So the wand is ready for showtime. Might as well plug it in. That's right. I made these opposite genders for some reason. I should have done that the other way, but it doesn't really matter. So this is ready. And this is ready. So the sump pump will pump 7th generation soap and water into this line. My air compressor will feed, I don't know how many PSI yet into this line. I will regulate it with this. And foam should come out. Foam shall be generated. All right, we're gonna do that now. So this is it. This is the moment of truth. I have just run a little bit of fluid up to this point yesterday. I just hooked up the air to this and I've got it closed. I'm about to plug it in for the first time. So I have a 2.5 gallon batch of solution mixed up. So this is kind of just a generally approved recipe. 2 cups per 5 gallons, so this is 2.5 gallons. So I have 1 cup of 7th gen soap. I'm gonna plug it in. I'm gonna have this going into this trash can for now because I don't have a switch. I need a switch because I'm gonna have to plug the pump in and let it do its thing. So this is the first run at it. Oh, what tarnation, we got that damn. I don't know how this stupid switch is supposed to even work on this sump pump. It's not a switch, it's like a little, where's that thing? I don't have time to be screwing with it. You've got to be kidding me. How's this supposed to? Okay. That's getting water, so now I'm going to put some air to it. Got about 5 pounds of air. Oh my God. Got about 15 pounds of air pressure. I'm going to back it down because I think we knocked the water out. So I'm going to turn off the air completely. That's awfully wet. Dial the air back up. I had to take the air back down to 0 to let the water start, which was the problem I expected. So we're about 10 psi of air. Got to take the air back off. It's going to be a balancing act, but we have extremely dense shaving cream, and I know my shaving cream. So now we're back to the liquid. Increasing air pressure. We got to do this extremely slowly. It's wildly delicate. So it's slow, but I can work with that. It sucks you have to fine tune it though. I'm gonna bring you in so you can see this a little closer. Alright, knocking the air off. My only leak in this whole thing is right here at these threads where the wand comes together, which is pretty good. Okay, let's bring it close. Bring you in for the real thing. Okay, so the sump pump is still going. Just sending the water out, and I'm actually going to quit screwing around because I'm running out of water. So I'm at 0 psi. We're going to give it a little air pressure. There's the soap. There's the foam. It's extremely sensitive. So the sump pump's inability to build a single PSI, and I guess it can. I looked at the details, and it's like a 16-foot head pump, which translates to like 2 psi, which is just, or I'm sorry, like 7 psi, which just isn't going to do anything for us. So I elevated it because that's going to give us better pressure, pumping into something of lower elevation. So we're going to try again. It works. I mean, I probably shouldn't have put that on my welding table. It does work. So we're gonna try it again. I dumped the water and fluid that was in this trash can into here. I'm gonna let that foam settle a little bit, and we're gonna try again with the height difference. Even if I can just get like a couple more psi, which is what I expect with this differential from where it was to where it is, I think we can get foam. I just need a steady stream of just halfway decent foam so I can pour what I'm obviously working on, concrete beehives. It's the same thing everybody's working on. To save you the pain of having to witness multiple YouTube fails in one short clip, I'm going to speed this up and trim it down and just kind of voice over what was going on here. So I raised the bucket. I tried to get a little bit more pressure on the water side to get a better foam. And ultimately all that happened was the damn sump pump float switch kept going on and off. I kept not getting any more water pressure, and I managed to keep the wand out of the frame for almost the entire video, which is not helpful whatsoever. So it wasn't successful. This pretty much was kind of the last ditch effort to conclude whether or not this sump pump was going to work, which I decided it will not. So go and do a new pump. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up as part one. It's the general assembly and overview. You can see here, I haven't ran this in a couple hours, and it's still looking good. So we're on to something. Well, we're not on it. This is nothing new. but happy to see that this works. I ordered a new pump on Amazon. It will be here in a couple days. So in a few days, we will put the new pump, we'll start a new video. We'll put the new pump on. We'll see how much better. I only got a 40 PSI pump, but I think that'll be plenty because at 10 PSI on the line, we were seeing some decent results. So got a 40 PSI pump on the way. We'll fill up a couple barrels of foam, and then we'll maybe even do a mix or two and pour some of it and see how it turns out. But that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.